League Two Portsmouth haven't been this far since they reached the final in 2010. Their reward was a hotly anticipated South Coast derby with Premier League Bournemouth. Simon Brotherton was at Fratton Park.
8 years has been a long time in football in these parts, and the contrasting fortunes of the 2008 Cup winners Portsmouth and Bournemouth come sharply into focus today. Pompey fell from the Premier League to League Two in the space of 3 years, while Bournemouth went from the fourth tier to the Premier League in 5. Portsmouth include goalkeeper Ryan Fulton, who's on loan from Liverpool, Michael Doyle, who played for Sheffield United in the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley against Hull 2 years ago, Adam McGurk, who scored 3 goals in this season's competition already, and Mark McNulty, who scored the third-round winner against Ipswich Town in a replay. Eddie Howe makes 10 changes to the Bournemouth side. Defender Tommy Elphick plays for the first time since September after an ankle injury that required surgery. There's a first start for Juan Iturbe on loan from Roma, while Sylvain Distin returns to face his former club. So 10 changes to the Bournemouth side, but it's still a strong-looking team put out by Eddie Howe for this cup tie. This is Clark. Now Stevens takes up the running. Real promise here for Portsmouth. Tremendous ball in, and the shot just wide of the post. Portsmouth carrying the early threat here in the first few minutes of the game. And as the ball came back out, it's McNulty who puts it wide of the goal. Paul Cook saying ahead of this game, this tie is a reward for the patience that the supporters have shown over the last couple of years or so, saying it really should be a special day for everyone. This is Mark McNulty now for Portsmouth, who brings a save from Adam Federici. Best effort of the game so far. And McNulty, who scored the winner in the third round against Ipswich Town, nearly had himself a goal here. First real sighting for him, and look at that, it was going in. There, the Portsmouth chairman, Ian McInnes, deep in conversation with the Republic of Ireland manager. Martin O'Neill taking this cup tie in. As Glenn Murray tries to break forward down the near side, and Bournemouth will get a free kick for this. And Christian Burgess, the first man to go into Mike Dean's book. O'Kane with the kick, a flicked header, just wide of the post. Murray was almost in with the opening goal of the match. Yeah, just flicks off his head. Couldn't have been more than a ball's width wide of that far post. Lightest of touches. A bit short by Distin, but Cargill has done well against McGurk. The touch from Grabban, collected by King. Grabban heads into the centre, and King loses out to Davies, who does nonetheless concede a corner. 27 minutes in, and it's been a pretty quiet opening 27 minutes so far for Ryan Fulton in the Portsmouth goal. Is that about to change? As he thinks about it, stays on his line, hooked back in by Josh King. Iturbe with the shot, and he hits the post. And the flag goes up on the far side anyway as McGurk clears his lines. Juan Iturbe very nearly with his first goal for Bournemouth. They've hardly threatened in the opening 27 minutes, but Iturbe almost found a way through. Good save by Fulton there, just pushing it onto the post. And Fulton, the loanee from Liverpool, has had virtually nothing to do so far. McNulty will be underneath it. Tidy knocked down to Kyle Bennett. Into Mark McNulty. Alarm bells ringing here for Bournemouth. What a chance for Roberts! And Portsmouth of League Two have the lead against Premier League Bournemouth. And it's a goal their first half efforts have deserved. Here the ball, high and long, the knockdown from McNulty, who took the return pass, and look at that, Roberts completely unmarked. Kyle Bennett feeding the ball through into the penalty area, and Gary Roberts keeping his head, staying calm, and planting the ball low into the corner of the net. Well, Roberts scored in the third round replay win over Ipswich, and he scored a big goal here. Bournemouth have work to do. They really have got a game on their hands here. Grabban's touch doesn't fall for Murray, and McDonald's beaten to it by Bennett, who skips clear. Good chance here for Roberts! All it needed was a touch. Roberts actually did well to keep his footing there. He looked as if he was struggling to avoid falling over with the momentum of the run. But again, it's Portsmouth who are really posing problems. Pugh, upended by Davis. That'll be a free kick. Pugh trying to find a way through. And that piece of attacking play unceremoniously ended. 10 Portsmouth players back inside their own penalty area. Mark McNulty, the only one staying up. And it comes to the near post, and it's an equalising goal. And Josh King may have got the final touch. Right in front of the Bournemouth fans. With 20 minutes to go, the Premier League side are back in the tie. The delivery from Eunan O'Kane. And Josh King able to guide the ball in. This will be the angle that shows it there. Just off Josh King's head. Back in the team after injury. And back among the goals. And bringing Bournemouth back into this cup tie. O'Kane. Another opportunity for Ritchie to slide that pass into Adam Smith, who's challenged by Matt Clark. Still it's with Bournemouth. Just over 8 minutes of the 90 remaining as Ritchie drills one in low. It's a little bobbler. It's a great chance and superb defending. Matt Clark it was, alongside Adam Webster, who denied Bournemouth when it looked for a moment there as if Lewis Grabban was going to score. Still Bournemouth applying some pressure here now. And it's away by Evans. And saved. Good stop by Fulton. And Bennett clears the ball out for a throw. Mark Pugh rifling the shot in. It was Pugh who let fly. And Fulton who saved. Here come Bournemouth once more with Grabban. Lewis Grabban trying to find an opening and another superb stop. And at the far post, it's nodded in by Mark Pugh. And Bournemouth have turned the tie around. And Eddie Howe, who was once of Portsmouth, of course, he was the first player signed by Harry Redknapp back in 2002, has come back here with his team today. They've found it tough, but finally they have their noses in front late in the day. Grabban holding the ball up well. Both went crashing in for the ball, and it may well have gone in off Webster. The final score at Fratton Park: Portsmouth 1, Bournemouth 2.
Portsmouth were excellent first half, made it very, very difficult for us. We dipped below our usual standards in that half, it has to be said, but I think credit for Portsmouth for how they moved the ball and their passing and movement caused us issues. But second half, thankfully, we got a grip of the game and came out on top.
I think the most important thing before the start of the game, we wanted to make sure, with it being a South Coast derby, that both sets of fans went away saying what a good game of football it was. And I think it was genuinely probably was a game of two halves. I thought we were the better side first half, but certainly Bournemouth come on very strong in the second half. So we're very disappointed to go out, but we certainly wish Eddie and his Bournemouth team the best of luck in the next round.
We give it a good go. We come up short towards the end, but I think for large periods of the game we dominated a very good side, and you see them in the Premiership week in week out. They're a very good side, so we can take some credit from the game, but at the end of the day we did lose.
Goodness me, you had to dig deep, didn't you, to get through that game?
Yeah, it was a tough game. We knew it was going to be tough coming down there. Portsmouth is a good team, and I think they made it very hard for us. But we got the 3 points, and we through to the next round.
Do you want to break it to him, or shall I?
Yeah, I don't.
No points, just the win, just the win. He's covering all bases there. It was an entertaining game, wasn't it, John? Because you've got this League Two side, a Premier League side, a side that have slipped down the leagues, having had that rich heritage in the FA Cup at the end of the last decade, but they certainly didn't look to be a huge gulf in class.
No, they didn't, and under Paul Cook, they seem to be going in the right direction. Let's not forget, in 2008, they won the FA Cup, and they're currently 6th in League Two, and they're certainly moving in the right direction. I thought they were excellent today. OK, they lost the game, but he'll be proud of his players. He will, Paul Cook, and they pressed Bournemouth hard in that first half.
They did. It was a very spirited performance from them. There was a lot to be proud of for Portsmouth and for Paul Cook. It was McNulty and Bennett that really stood out for me for Portsmouth in this game. There was pressing, there was running, there was really getting that crowd going. You know, Portsmouth were absolutely, I mean, in the stands for starters were phenomenal throughout that game. Now this is McNulty at this point. I mean, the shot that he let off was a fantastic shot, and these are the type of things that got that crowd going that I spoke about. But it was Bennett that got man of the match on the day. Shows some great composure here when he gets into these attacking areas, and when the ball does come back to Roberts, I mean, that's as composed as you get. But like I mentioned, again, McNulty and Bennett linking up. Lovely composure. I mean, a lot of players would lash at that, but he takes his time and finishes it lovely. Bennett, again, on the front foot. I mean, this is... the weight of pass is perfect. If it's not for the little stumble that Roberts has, I mean, he probably could have got a shot off, but I've highlighted McGurk at the top of the picture there, and I just think he can really bust the gut to get into the box there, John. Get on the end of something. He might have made it, he might not, but we'll never know.
He's not proactive enough.
No, not enough.
Toes yet.
And this is the turning point, really. Roberts goes off, Ritchie and Pugh come on, and they added so much more to the game, so much more quality. Pugh was very instrumental in getting Bournemouth back into this game, and it was that free kick that led to the first goal from King. It was terrific delivery, and I mean, just needs the deftest of touches to knock it into that far corner. And at this point, Grabban posts up lovely on the edge of the 18-yard box, and the keeper does really well to get anything on that, and that's the winning goal. I mean, he was very unlucky there, the defender. He probably should have cleared it, but you have to give credit to Pugh to, you know, really show that aggression to get on the end of it, and for them to come from a goal down. Bournemouth at Fratton Park was no mean feat. It was a good result.
Pompey fans were great, weren't they, as well?
Oh,
never stopped singing and believing in their side. It was a great atmosphere.
You know, when they went 2-1 down, they just didn't stop singing, and I just think that was absolutely brilliant from them.
What do you think Eddie Howe will do? Because he changed the team 10 players different for the game against Sunderland. It was 11 in the third round. He's going to carry on, do you think, making these wholesale changes through this competition if they progress?
I think as they go on, it'll get less. You know, because as the competition gets higher, he'll have to try and stick with his starting 11. But you just can't blame him. You know, from the start of the season, they've had a lot of injury problems.
And Elphick was back today, of course.
Correct. You know, and I think that's, you know, it's a massive positive to get some minutes into Elphick's legs as well. So he'll be delighted.